Hey, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining. This is going to be a fun day. We're going to be sitting here and chatting about gardening. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. We have Smart Pot Edvin joining us today.
Hey, garden friends. Happy to be here.
I love your background. My goodness. Is that a
Thank you.
fake
Yeah.
background?
It's actually a real background. Well, it's a real fake background. But yeah, it's right outside in a Smart Pot greenhouse. So
I
yeah,
was going to
that's
say
oh,
it
there you go.
looks like the Smart Pot greenhouse, but my goodness, it's gorgeous.
Yes, this
Wow.
tree is an ancient tree, and we had these 90-mile-per-hour winds, and we were kind of scared because there was some branches that were looked like they were about to smack the greenhouse, but it survived, and we're all good. But yes, this is
Oh,
the outside of our greenhouse here on the Smart Pot campus in Oklahoma City.
whew. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, Great. Well, we are going to be sitting here and just chatting about gardening. So feel free to pop any questions that you may have into the chat. And I'm gonna be let's see. Here, I'm trying to fix the bottom. There we go. I'm going to be going through and starting a bunch of seeds and all of that. And yeah. um, so I am here here, I'm going to move you guys up here. So that way you can see. There, I might move you down a little bit. Hello, welcome. So hopefully this is a okay view here. Okay, so I am planting out a bunch of seeds today too. I figured I would take this time while you guys are here joining us and to get some more seeds going. As you can see, I have a whole bunch going right now and a bunch of seeds and actually a bunch of strawberries too. Check this out, guys. I posted a video about this over the weekend, but we had a bunch of strawberry plants that we planted into a 4x8 wooden raised bed. And we had a bunch of runners from the strawberries last season that jumped over top of our raised bed and they planted themselves into our mulch. And we're like, well, we can't have them there because we need to be walking through there. We're going to be having like our carts going through and all that. So we ended up just digging all these out. And we got so many. We filled up an entire green stalk tower of just simply strawberries. And then we have 1.5 trays up here of just strawberries too. And I'm like, whew, we got a lot of what I call free strawberries. It's amazing. I love it.
Well, Carrie, I definitely saw that video that you and Dale posted. I want to do a lot of strawberries and no cocoa liners, so I'll definitely have to come by and snag a few. And it looks like you guys have a
We
couple that you
do.
can donate. So I'm planning
Yes.
on doing something like this in a Smart Pot, no cocoa liner.
Ooh,
So a lot of
yes.
Smart Pot gardeners have grown strawberries, so I think it's perfect time. And since you guys have a
Love
couple to
it.
hand out, I'll go ahead and I'll take some.
Yes. Come on by. We're neighbors, right?
Yeah. Hey, there was actually a question here. Oh, perfect. Dale just put it up by Cassandra. She asked, "What is the best way to store the pods for the biodome?"
So what I do, I mean, honestly, I keep mine in the box that they came in still. And I keep them just here in my garage with me too. And I don't ever really open them up to add anything. I mean, they should be, fairly not like dry whenever you get them. Because whenever you pop them into the biodome is when you need to moisten them and all that. So I generally just leave them alone and keep them in the box that they came in, and then I will open the Ziploc baggie and pop them in whenever I'm ready to go. So that's actually what I was doing right before this, was getting a biodome together, and we just got these from a Ziploc baggie that they came in and popped them in here, got them moistened and ready to go.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, and so funny thing, I was actually planting like down here. You can see I did a double biodome of all a whole bunch of the tomatoes, and I'm
Ooh.
doing another one of tomatoes because I realized at the last minute my favorite tomato variety was like I had used it all. And this is the Parks Whopper cherry tomato. So this is junior, and it's a pink one. I grew this last year and it tasted so good. And I was devastated whenever I went to plant all my tomatoes that I didn't have any more. And so I was like, oh no, I had to go order some more. So now I have to start more seeds. Bummer, right?
Oh, you
Carrie,
said the
we got a
Parks
question.
Junior Whopper? Were those the ones you just talked about?
Yes. Yeah. The pink ones. I already had some red and yellow going. So now
You
I
said
need,
there's pink ones now.
yep, the best color.
Carrie, we got a question from Tanya about the best June-bearing strawberry.
Okay, great. So, we grow a whole bunch of different ones, like pretty much everything that Park Seed has. But so the Parks Whoppers are a really good one. The All Star ones are really good. Um, those are those are two good ones. Okay, I'm ready to get planting.
Yeah,
So,
guys, if you guys oh sorry. If you have any questions, make sure you pop it in and Dale, Carrie, and I will do our best to get you answered.
and we're going to be giving away too a free 1 year premium Seed to Student app subscription. So make sure you guys are commenting. Okay. So Donna says, my tomato transplants are doing well. They germinated, but they look dead. Am I supposed to take it off the heat mat once germinated? So, yes, typically, whenever I am like sprouting my tomatoes or peppers, whenever I'm germinating them, I'll keep them on the heat mat. But then once they are done, like I generally turn the heat mat off, and just kind of getting them used to the normal environmental temperatures. I'm sorry to hear that. That's oh yeah. I would be devastated myself, so I'm very sorry. Okay. The only bad thing about all of these is that these are very large and they are very, very big plants. So we're gonna have to make sure we have plenty of space ready to go. These definitely need a trellis, but I am excited.
Yeah, I think this year I'm definitely gonna try to do a lot more indeterminates. Get my trellis game up before
Yeah,
the season gets too big. I think that was the mistake I did last year, was that I waited to trellis until the plants needed to be trellis, and then I was too late to trellis. So definitely got to get your trellis in beforehand.
yeah. Here, you want me to start some of these for you too? So when you come get some strawberries, you can grab some of these.
Yeah, Carrie, you know I will never deny any seedlings from you guys.
Awesome. Let's see. Lisa says, I just got done planting a bunch of zucchini, pumpkins, and melons.
Mm.
Awesome. Yes, that is amazing. Yeah, we grow all of our squashes. Generally, we grow all of those ones. We try to trellis them up. Even for zucchini, we try to do as much as we can. I know it's difficult to, if you guys have grown zucchini, you know it's kind of like very large and just huge. But we try to do like if you put like a T post next to it, you can kind of try to train it to grow upwards. It just helps a lot with the squash bugs, and yeah, you don't have to battle quite as much. But we do a lot of trellising with cattle panels and things like that. Like just a lot of DIY trellises and things like that.
Yeah, I think I told you already. This year I'm gonna copy your guys' cattle panel trellis, and I'm gonna do loofah.
Nice.
And
Yes.
I
Oh,
know, definitely inspired by you. So we're gonna definitely try that, and we're gonna have our own sponges, and we'll be excited.
I love it. Yes, loofah is probably my one of my favorite things to grow, especially on the cattle panel arch trellises is where I
Yeah.
like to grow them because if you can just like walk through them and they're like there's like these huge loofahs hanging down. It's fun. It's fun. I love
How many
walking.
plants would you recommend to do in the loofah?
Well, we did 2 loofah plants last. They get
Oh
huge,
wow. Okay.
massive.
Well, thank you for telling me because I was thinking about doing like tomatoes, like 4 or 5 or 6. But good thing
Hey,
I asked you
go for
first.
it. I mean, you can. So here's the thing. I never get enough to where I'm like, I'm going to harvest them early to eat.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but I would love to try them though and eat them because they're supposed to taste just like squash. So I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to grow some more extras and then I'll hand you the fruit. You can try the fruit.
Yes. Yeah. It was so funny. So this past year, I had one growing on my cattle panel, and I like turned my back for a couple days, and it decided to hop from the cattle panel over to my willow tree,
Oh
which was,
wow.
I mean, it was a good like at least couple feet away. I'm like, how did it even get like it must have been like a windy day and it just like got caught and then it just started growing. And I'm like, it grew like up like way
Wow.
really high. So like at the end of the season, I had to just like pull it down, and I'm like pulling all this loofah off of my willow tree. It looks like a loofah tree. It was really funny, but I should have recorded that whenever I was
That's
like,
pretty amazing, because like places like I mean humid places like I mean like I know Florida and other places, there's actually like plants that'll grow on trees like that, like kind of like air plants. So that's super interesting that it did that.
I know. I was like, it just had a mind of its own. I was like, that's pretty funny. Okay, I need to pull up the app so that way I can be logging what I'm doing because or else I am going to forget what I planted where. Okay, I have to create a new one. New garden. So whenever I'm going through and making a like doing a new seed starting area, I go through and make like a new garden in here. So like each one of these trays is its own little garden for me. So I'm gonna name this really quick. I don't use the iPad often. There we go. I was like, I don't use the iPad often. Where do I type? I'm used to doing this all on my phone. Okay. I can type. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see if I can pull up Biodome. Okay. And what's cool too is on the visual one right here, whenever I go to set it up, I can select a biodome and it'll look just like the biodome, which is super cool. And I'm all about that. But if I'm doing it in like one of these bootstrap trays, like I'll go down and select seed tray, and then it looks like a seed tray. And or of course you can make it a garden bed, and it just looks like soil, which is awesome. But for this one, I'm gonna pull up the biodome, and I am doing an 18 cell here right now. I like to use these bigger sponge sizes for things like tomatoes and just like the bigger plants and things like that I'm going to be growing. So, okay. So I have it pulled up right here. I need to go through and mark that I did tomatoes. This Parks Whopper, pink one. But seriously, though, guys, if you are looking for a really good cherry tomato, you definitely need to try it out. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, is there an easy way to log events for a whole seed tray garden? Yes. So here, let me show you real quick. So I was actually doing this the other day because I went through and watered like the entire tray. So I don't want to like go in and click that I on each plant that I watered it. So one thing you can do is over here, you just tap over here to list view, and it'll list out all the plants. But I wish I could. Let's see. And then right up here, there's these 3 dots. Let's see if I can tap it. There we go. Down here, there is log event for multiple plants. Okay, I'm not talented enough to do that backwards. So there we go. So now I go in and it'll pop up like all of the events, things that you can do. So I can go in and hit watered. So now all of the plants that are in your garden will pop up here. And if you want to select all of them, you can See, I can't do things upside down and backwards here. You just tap the select all, or you can go through and select, like, if there was like a specific one, like few of them that you did something to, you can go through. But I do this all the time, especially for like my seed starting areas. But yeah, I just go in there, select all, and then hit next and save. Boom. There you go. And now it'll show that I watered everything in there whenever I click in. So
Also, I couldn't help myself, and I had to look up these pink cherry tomatoes, and yeah, they are pretty amazing.
oh my gosh, they taste so good. Yes. So Patricia, these are um, the Parks Whopper, the Parks Whopper Junior, and this variety that I'm planting right here is the pink one. I am a huge fan of it. It just tasted so good last year. I absolutely loved it. They also have a red one and a yellow one. Now the red one was so prolific. It literally took up an entire trellis, like an entire we had a cattle panel on its side, and it literally took up the entire cattle panel, and it was just filled with cherry tomatoes too. So that one was amazing. And I haven't grown the yellow one yet, which I'm doing this year though. It's down there right now, growing. But I'm really excited to try that one too. But I definitely recommend the Park Swapper Junior are an amazing cherry tomato, and they will be very prolific for you and taste incredible.
Yeah, I think the only yellow tomatoes I have grown are the yellow sun gold, which I think are similar to the cherry. They're small, and I like them because they were they were a lot sweeter and they didn't have that much of that like sour tomato flavor.
Yes. So that's the difference for me, is that like I like tomatoes, but I'm generally not one to go out and just like snack on them.
Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, no, like Kurt, I mean, we have tomatoes growing in the greenhouse. He'll go out there and he'll snap them right off the vine, but I
Yes.
can't like that. I don't know. It's like that wild flavor. I don't know.
Yeah, it's never, I mean, I like tomatoes, but I don't generally do that. But with this one right here, I know I'm going to keep going back to it. But seriously though, with that pink one, I was literally popping them off and eating them. I mean, they're like, yeah, it was like the first tomato that I actually wanted to go out and just grab as many as I could and snack on. Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. Okay. Oh man, I've lost seeds. I'm not being organized today. Okay. Um let's see, Nina says we do not have a greenhouse and want to know what vegetables will be easy to start outdoors. So it really depends like where you live, but pretty much everything is good. I mean, you can start anything outdoors, really. Um, but I grow everything. Like I direct seed, like my beans and peas and any sort of root crops or greens or okra or I mean, I literally could list a bunch. But a lot of those, like I will just go in and direct seed a lot of those. Really, the only things that I'm doing indoors that I'm making sure that I always do indoors are things like tomatoes and peppers. And in like the early springtime, like especially things like broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and all that, just because we have like a shorter spring period, it generally gets a little too hot too fast here in Oklahoma. Um, but if it is a lot more mild in your area, then you don't necessarily have to worry about that. Um, but that being said, like even if you don't have a greenhouse, you don't have to have a greenhouse. You can have like this is just my garage, honestly. We just have a few wood shelves and we have some trays put on top with some LED shop lights. So I mean, you don't even have to build something this extreme. Inside the house, we have just a wire rack that you can get like at any big box store, and we have a few like lights on top of there. I mean, you can grow a lot of things indoors.
Yep. And for people who have never grown in a greenhouse, which is me, I mean, I have just started this greenhouse behind me. I've inadvertently inherited it for now a couple months. And I did not know, but a greenhouse still does have seasons. I mean, it is definitely there's a learning curve to growing in a greenhouse. So if you've never grown in a greenhouse and you think that a greenhouse is going to solve your issues, there's still a learning curve with that. And there's still different quirks and different things you kind of have to learn. And I'm learning very, very quickly that, you know, it's there's something to greenhouse growing. So There's nothing wrong with starting at home, and just like Carrie said, any simple setup will definitely get you through. I mean, I definitely had my first experience with the Park Seed Biodome, and everything we planted, Carrie, you saw was 100% germination, and we kind of just sat it there, and I just watered the tray, and super easy to germinate.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like anything that's difficult to grow or difficult to germinate, even, or if I just want simple, like I just pull up the biodome. I mean, because
Yeah,
it just works and it creates like its own little mini greenhouse.
exactly.
Okay, I've got to log this. I did eggplants next, so I already have a whole bunch of tomatoes going, but I had to do another round because of my pink tomatoes. But I am growing like some eggplants and things like that in here too. Let's see. Donna says, if you grow basil next to a tomato plant, does it make the tomatoes taste better? Um, I mean, it is
I've
supposed
heard that.
It
Yeah,
is
that's what
supposed
I've
to.
heard.
I mean, scientifically, I don't know. Dale says yes, there have actually been studies saying that. I mean, but yes, I have heard that all the time. We always do it ourselves. So like it's hard to say if it just works or our tomatoes are just great, you know?
Yeah, and I heard that too, like for tomatoes and peppers, if you grow them next to each other, their roots will like do the same thing and you'll get spicy tomatoes and they'll hybridize and all that. So I think it's super fun. I mean, for people who don't like spiciness. So I definitely plant my tomatoes and peppers in the same bed.
That's
So
cool. Yeah, yeah. So I'd say like from the basil perspective too, like it doesn't only just make them taste better, but it also works a lot for like the pests and things like that. So you don't have to worry about a lot of the pests and things like that because it'll repel. Okay, this one was a purple comet. Ooh,
I
that
want to jump in and want to say one thing. When it comes to the concerns on like growing peppers next to each other and stuff like that, you only have to worry about that if you're going to be harvesting the seeds and then growing like a new plant from that. If you're just eating like the fruit off of that plant, it's not going to be affected until you like took it and planted it out again. Carrie, can you introduce like why I'm just a voice in the sky in these videos? It just pops in if anyone doesn't know who I am.
They're like, who is that voice? So that is Dale talking in the back. That's my husband. So Dale and I are the creators of the Seed to Spoon app. We started gardening together back in 2015. And yeah, he is the voice behind this, right? he is Oz, I guess. Maybe we need to reveal the curtain.
Sometimes I'm on the videos too, but I had another thing I had to do here in a little bit, so I could only be on for a little bit. So, hi everyone.
And if you want to see Dale, he was on the live stream on Tuesday, so go check it out. Yeah, we generally do these live streams every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we have like a set topic that we're talking about. Like on Tuesday, oh my goodness, what did we talk about on Tuesday? I already forgot. Herbs, yes. Yes. So we talked all about like our favorite herbs, how to grow them, how to use them, like all of that. But sometimes we're talking companion planting, sometimes we're talking about just getting started, and sometimes pests. Like, yeah, sky's the limit. But we're always live on Tuesdays, but we thought we would hop in here on a random Thursday just because you guys always seem to have a lot of questions. So I wanted to make sure that we spent time to address them. Okay, so isn't it too late to start the Pink Whopper Junior indoors? I started my tomatoes at the beginning of March. So I am on the late side, but it is not too late for sure because you can definitely still be doing it. I mean, pretty much at any time, but for us, like we can't plant them outdoors ourselves until we have our last frost, which we might have, but it's not supposed to be here for another few weeks. And we also I like to have like several tomatoes too that are like backups. So in case like something goes wrong and pests get them, if we have a hailstorm randomly, I mean, you never know what is going to happen. So I like to have a lot of them. Plus, I didn't have these at the time I started all my other tomatoes, so I had to make sure that I got them in. But they'll still be good. They might just be a little bit behind my other tomatoes, but they'll still do great. I'm not too concerned about it. Okay. Well, I am one seed short. Yeah. Donna says the herb workshop was fun. Yes. We get excited about different herbs too, because like you can grow so many different varieties, and like who knew that there were so many different varieties of things like basil and all of that. Like I sure did not before I started gardening, and it can make just everything taste so much different. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, I think we did like 3 different types of basils, and my favorite one to grow, not even just to eat, was the spicy basil. It like grew like a giant bush, and like I don't know, like the leaves looked like they were like little razor blades. I don't know, super interesting. I don't know if you've ever grown spicy basil.
I have we Dale? That doesn't sound familiar. I don't know if we have any.
I might even have a picture of it. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Okay. We have a question.
My basil is kind of like a spicy cinnamon. It's not really spicy, but like Thai
Yeah.
basil kind of that like.
I love Thai basil. Yeah. Let's see. Can you plant zucchini and squash seeds together, or is it best to keep them separate? So generally I keep them separate just because they're so large too, and they both are going to take a lot of nutrients too from the soil. So I do try to keep them spaced out a little bit because they'll attract like the same pests and things like that too. So if you have space to separate them a little bit, I would do that, even if it's just like opposite sides of the bed. But I do try to generally keep them as separate. Okay, I need to find one thing to plant over here. Let's do another tomato. I've already done a lot of this pink tomato. Probably need to do a different one. There we go. Let's see. Let me look and see if I have. I'll save it. I'll look and see if any of mine down there need replanting, and then I'll do that. But I have this entire one too that I need to plant out. We have this whole bootstrap tray right here that I'm going to be planting out with a bunch of different flowers and stuff. I'm excited. Okay. Patty says, how long should I keep a fan on daily for seedlings? I keep them up like all the time. I mean, obviously mine are not going right now just because if I had it on, it would be really loud in here because I have like 4 of them. So, but they're turned off right now. But I have them set up. Like I have these box fans. Let me see if I can just show you real quick. So, yeah, right over here, I have these 2 right here. And then on this side, I have some right over there too. So I try to put like these box fans like right there. And yep, like I said, right over there. So I have a bunch of them set up. And it just helps. I mean, even if they're to the point where I'm not worried about things like gnats or mold or fungus and things like that, if I'm not worried about that, I'm still going to want it on just because it helps with like transitioning them to outdoors because they're getting used to being like windy days and things like that. So it kind of gives them just like a head start and it helps make them stronger. And yeah, I say all the time. Okay. I'm pulling up some flowers. Okay. But how's everybody else doing out there? Do we like this format? So I know we had it on like this up and down because we were going to be trying to go live on Instagram too, but I guess we had some technical difficulties right before, but we were trying to do that. And so hopefully this looks good for you guys. Okay. But like I said, feel free, pop your questions in. If you guys have any questions, pop them into the chat. You'll be entered in to win your free 1-year premium subscription. Exciting. Okay, Wendy says, any tips in growing amaranth? No, the small varieties. Oh my goodness. You know what? I do not actually. I wish I did. Edvin,
I'm going Amaranth. I
or
have
do you
I
want to
have
pull
not
up
grown.
Growbot? Let's pull up Growbot and see. Oh, I have. Look at this.
I was gonna say I could definitely do that, but that's the one thing Dale did not teach me yet.
We have not grown that ourselves. So let's see. Tips on growing. Okay. Let's see. Oh boy, we have a full, very long answer here coming from Growbot. Let's see if I can. But yeah, everybody can do that. This is just within the Seed to Spoon app. So if you do have any questions, because I don't know everything, I like this. Like I don't know it. But there's a lot of things that like I have to pull up the app for and I have to look it up. So everybody's always still learning. Nobody knows everything. And if they think they do, they're definitely lying. Let's see. Well, it's trying to give me details for Oklahoma City here, but said start seed 6 to 8 weeks before last frost date, which is April 17th in Oklahoma City. So coming up.
Coming up.
Choose a sunny location, thrives in full sun, prefers soil pH of 6 to 7.5. Let's see. Doesn't require heavy fertilization. Keep the soil moist. Relatively pest resistant, but could have aphids and leaf miners. So, yeah. I mean, any sort of questions you may have, like Growbot should hopefully help you out. I know that was like super basic, but yeah, that's what Growbot suggests. So I have, I'm generally one that starts all of my zinnia seeds outdoors. I just direct seed them because they're so easy to grow. But I am actually going to be growing some indoors too, for 2 reasons. I want to get a head start on some, but also they are, so this is the Magellan mix. It is super pretty. And these are more of a smaller compact variety. So I'm going to be putting this one like in our porch, like in containers and things like that. So it's going to be, I'm going to probably want to be transplanting a lot of those generally too. So.
Just a picture of that mix.
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I was amazed by how huge these blooms were. Like they were the size, like, so the Parks Picks mixed zinnias are ones that I generally always grow. Because I love those varieties. They're huge and the stems are like very, like, they're very sturdy. They're perfect for cutting flowers. And so those are ones I generally grow, and those have huge blooms on them, which I felt like is not surprising because of how large they are. But with these ones, like these ones were maybe like a foot tall. Like they were very, very short.
Oh, wow.
But they had like the same size blooms. Like it was like the size of my hand. I was like, these are amazing.
Sound like perfect for like table bouquets, like little miniatures.
Yeah. Like I was cutting these also and using them in vases too. Like they're so pretty.
So I'm very green on growing flowers. So would each seed produce more than one bloom, or is each seed about equal a bloom? How does that work?
Yeah. So it'll have like multiple like
Shoots.
shoots of the blooms.
Okay.
And every time too that you cut them, like it encourages them to grow more also.
Nice.
So like at first it was difficult for me to go out there and actually like start cutting zinnias because they're so pretty. But like Literally though, like the more you cut, the more that they grow. So I was like, okay, I will do it. I can do it.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I don't have the chat pulled up, Edvin. Do we have any other questions or anything?
Yes. Tanya asks, do you have any suggestions for foolproof vegetables for gardeners that don't have a green thumb?
So I will say easiest ones to grow. Not everybody likes radish, but it is extremely simple. It is very simple. Um, Things like beans and peas can be a little bit more difficult to germinate. I like beans better. They're a lot easier to grow, I feel like. Those are ones that are really good. Um, I was gonna say you said vegetables, but I was like zinnias.
Well, I'm
Um,
gonna just say it, microgreens for sure. I mean, these are some microgreens that I started for a class that Carrie and I taught here in Oklahoma City. And yeah, these were, I mean, I want to say maybe less than 2 weeks worth of growth. And these are the Park Seed microgreens mixes. And what I did is just put them in a 1 gallon smart pot and then put them in a deep saucer, and these literally grow themselves. So these, I mean, whether you're a basic gardener or don't know anything about gardening, um, I would say that microgreens are the easiest, and they're super healthy, super yummy. So
yeah,
I would say if you've never grown anything, microgreens is going to be the easiest thing to grow.
yeah, it's a good way to get your feet wet.
Yep.
And like depending where you are too, like lettuce is super simple. And
Yes.
I literally just go out there and toss lettuce seeds. Like I generally I'm not doing spacing requirements or anything like that. Like the seeds are pretty small. So I'm just going through and I'm just literally sprinkling them. And most all of them come up and I just snip them as I'm harvesting them and start thinning them down. But lettuce is also something that is super simple, very easy to grow.
Question from Marisol. This looks like she's in California and her herbs seem to get charred by the sun. Would sunshade help?
So, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can definitely anywhere where they would get some afternoon shade would be great. Whether that be like a living shade wall or if you do a shade cloth or something like that. Now, what I mean by a living shade wall, it's kind of like we do this all the time where we have like a cattle panel just propped up on its side, and we grow like things like southern peas, especially if you're like really hot, like southern peas will still thrive in like the heat no matter how hot it gets, it seems. But it will grow up and it will prevent, or it will give you like a break from the sun and the wind and all sorts of things. So I tend to do a lot of like living shade walls myself, so that might help. I'm sure Edvin has tips on growing them in smart pots so you can move them around too.
Yeah, actually, in my garden, we actually had a big tree that was on the east side. So I was actually able to grow basil and some parsley way into the heat because that tree actually provided shade onto that into that raised bed. So I purposely planted some vegetables that I knew couldn't tolerate heat, so that it caught that shade from that sun. So things like that will help. But yeah, definitely if you're in California, sunshade is, sun cloth is definitely useful. Another one from Tanya. So she says, I recently bought the Whopper strawberries, but the roots looked very dry. I planted them anyway last night. Do you have any suggestions for making sure that they grow and have a healthy harvest?
So generally, so whenever they come to you, those are just it's just a bare root plant. So before you plant that, I know you already did it last night, but next time whenever you go through and plant it, soak them in some water for just like a few hours beforehand, and then take them out and transplant them, and that'll help give them like a little boost. But just make sure you go out there, water them in really well. Here within a few weeks, they should look just like. I mean, really just like little transplants. Like they'll start growing green and like they'll look like these here in just like a few weeks, probably. Yeah. Um, but honestly, like we don't do much with our strawberries. They're probably one of the very simple things to grow. Now pests, you can have definite issues with pests on them, but generally they will grow pretty well for you. But
All
I
right,
do.
and then here we go. Where's this? So Tanya, what soil do you guys use in green stocks and smart pots?
So I make my own soil. We do a mixture of well, it's called Mel's Mix. So from Square Foot Gardening. So it's a mixture of equal parts of vermiculite and coconut coir and compost. And all of those things are like we just combine all of that together. Now I know Edvin has some really good soil too that he recommends if you guys want to buy like potted, like a bag of soil if you don't want to go through the process of making your own, which I completely get. Sometimes buying bagged soil is a faster and easier option for you.
Yeah, we've definitely in our greenhouse we use a sun grow mix, which actually you can find at Walmart and a lot of other local garden centers. They've been really good quality. Their black bear mix is made from biochar, which actually we've started seeds in them here, and they've all done great. And just transplanted some tomatoes. But in my personal garden, I go to our local compost facility. There's also in Oklahoma City a new one that just opened. It's called Fertile Ground. They actually do mushroom compost, and to be honest with you, I think I'd attribute my success last year a lot to that mushroom compost. I had a bunch of mushrooms sprouting in my soil, which is super nice. It means you have really healthy soil. So I just tilled those in, and I think that's why I did really good. So definitely want to stay away from stuff that promises to give you miracles. Some of that stuff is not the safest. So I always tell people, if you think you have trouble gardening, I would start with a super healthy soil. Go to your local garden center. I know Dale and Carrie go to Minic Materials here in Oklahoma City, and they do their own blend of compost along with I think zoo poo. Is that correct? Like poop from our Oklahoma City Zoo, which
Yeah.
is like super super healthy. I mean, those animals probably eat better than we do. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with soil.
Yeah.
All right, this is a great question for you, Carrie. Josh asks, "What's a good tomato to get my kids to try to get them to love tomatoes?"
Okay, actually, I have tomatoes pulled up. Oh, look at this. Wow. I have it right here. This is the answer. If you could read it.
Ooh, the chocolate tomato, chocolate
Chocolate
cherry tomato.
cherry tomato. This is what my kids really wanted to grow because of the name. I mean, honestly, that is it. Like the kids were like, chocolate? Okay, I'll try that. And then it made them want to try it too once we grew it. Now they're like, this doesn't taste like chocolate, but they're like, yeah, this is actually pretty good though. But it got them to actually try it first. So that's definitely a really good one. Um, Again, I'm going to recommend that pink Whopper Junior one too because it just tastes really good. I think it doesn't have like the bitter flavor, so I think they might like the taste of that one too. Um, Also, one other one that I will recommend is the like anything that is super small that you can grow indoors. So
Mm.
I grow the kitchen minis on my windowsill in little tiny 1 gallon smart pots. I grow them inside and my kids help me take care of them. They help me water them. They help me, do all that. And so they will just walk by and grab one off of there too. So I feel like having it like in sight of them also, and if they're helping take care of it, yeah, like look how cute that is. And it actually gives you a lot of tomatoes, believe it or not, for such small of a plant. But having something like that they see all the time that they're helping you take care of, like that's definitely something that would really help them to get involved.
All right, one from Mandy. Is the first time I have success to grow spinach. They keep producing. How can I know that they are close to the end of their life?
I mean, oh, you'll know whenever they start to like bolt. You'll see like they'll start to flower is what that means. So this will happen whenever it gets too hot out, or like if the soil's like too dry and they're not doing well. Um, but generally, like it'll happen whenever the temperatures start getting too warm for it in the summer. Like you'll notice like it's starting to growing like a more of a central stalk and like getting it more bitter tasting
Yeah.
also. Just doesn't taste nearly as good. Unfortunately, that means it's going to be towards the end of its life. Now, there are a few things you can do to extend it, like if you put it like shade cloth, like we were talking about earlier, or putting them like giving them a little bit of extra shade, like in the afternoon, can really help. Again, that's why I like growing a lot of these in smart pots because I can move them around if I need to and give them a little bit extra shade and take them over here by this tree and things like that. So you can try to do a few things to try to extend the life.
So Patricia, are there any flower seeds that you do better as direct sow?
Oh, this is a great question. And yes, there's a lot of them actually, but sunflowers do amazing direct sow. Zinnias definitely do really well direct sow. Um, I mean, so many things like cosmos do really well direct sow. Um, yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, pretty much anything too that requires cold stratification. I always say that, and so that means that they require a period of like really cold weather to get it to ignite and do its thing. So I mean, those type of plants generally, I'll say like start those seeds in the fall and just pop them out into the ground, and then those ones will do really well for you in the spring. Um, but those ones, like the sunflower zinnias, all of those, like you can just toss those seeds out. Like they will always come up for you. They always do really well. Cosmos do.
CJ, to harden off what's in the biodome, do I take the top off and set it outside for a couple hours, or what do you do?
Absolutely. I mean, it really can be that simple. So I actually, once my seedlings, like all of them germinate, I take that lid off anyways, just so I can have the light sitting a little bit closer to my seedlings. So that way they're not like reaching for the light or getting leggy looking or anything like that. Um, but generally, yeah, I just take it outside. I give it a little bit of like part shade, just to kind of ease its way into there. But really, yes, that's all as simple as it is. Just start to gradually increase your time frame every day as to how long you keep it out and how much sun you expose it to and how much elements, like if is it windy and all of that. Okay. Edvin, did Dale, I know Dale had to hop off because he had a prior engagement. Did he show you how to pick winners? Or do you need me to?
Um, you have to do that. He did not
Okay.
tell how to
No,
pick a winner.
that is perfectly fine. So bear with me a moment. If you have any that you want to pop up or if you want to show anything while I.
At this one, from Red, what do I companion plant with blueberries?
Um
And I would kind of catch you in the middle of everything.
Let's see. So companion plant with blueberries. Generally with blueberries, like I'm planting blueberries in their own smart pot generally. Here, I'm gonna bring this closer so I'm not like leaning over like a weirdo here. Um so generally I'm going through and growing them in their own containers just because they like really acidic soil. So generally I'm doing that. So I'm generally not as concerned about that. But let me pull up the app here really quick and see what Seed Dispense says. It's been a while since I've grown blueberries. Have you grown them before, Edvin?
So there's actually that Owasso blueberry farm here in Oklahoma, and I think they grow like 100 blueberry plants, if not more, in like 30-gallon smart pots. I haven't done it because you do need a very like specific soil pH, so I haven't got into like checking soil. But I think that this year, I think I'm definitely going to get into that and figure that out because you can overwinter them here in Oklahoma. You can people bring them in their garage.
Oh
And
yeah.
I didn't know, I don't know why, but in Oklahoma, it's a very big thing for people to be growing blueberries. I don't know why, but we always get the comments of
They're
blueberries, the
so
blueberries.
good. Well, they just taste
Yes.
so good too. But no, I was looking up here to see if my soil acidifier was easy to grab. but it's not. It's like way up at the top. But Espoma has this soil acidifier that's perfect for blueberries. But all I do is just add a little bit of that into the soil in my smart pot whenever I planted them out, and that was perfect. But here, I pulled up the Seed to Spoon app right here, and if you go to companions under blueberries, it'll give you a huge list of plants that are good, along with a few enemies. So generally, it looks like keep them away from other berries as well. I'm guessing like similar pests is probably the biggest thing there. But I mean, yeah, it's everything you would imagine like being companions, herbs, and things like that.
Yeah, just to show them, this is what that blueberry farm, this is how they grow their smart pot or their blueberries. It's just one berry per pot, basically, and that's just because they have such a requirement for their soils parameters.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why we do a lot of the smart pots. I mean, it really is like that is something that's super simple to grow in smart pots.
Got another one from Melissa. Is it a general rule to remove seedlings from the heat once germination has done?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it is a good general rule. Like honestly, like sometimes I just turn it off too. Like I don't even necessarily like remove the heat mat. I just turn it off and then I'm good. But because I have like a huge heat mat that expands like the entire length of our of one of these right here behind me. So I don't
Nice.
want to like go through and like remove every single one. Yeah. So I just turn it off whenever everything has germinated and don't need it anymore.
Okay, one more from Norman. So it looks like he's overwintered his pepper plants. Is it safe to lightly untangle the roots before planting?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I yeah, for sure. If you're going to be like transplanting them out or anything like that, just like with any other transplant, like if you've noticed that they've started to entangle themselves or circle or anything like that, you can definitely try to get them free so that way they start like growing outwards instead of continuing to circle.
Do we have a winner?
We do. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I did poll a winner. And so this person is going to win the free 1 year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So you get all access to all of the features on the app. You get unlimited gardens and plants that you can log into your garden, unlimited photos you can send to Growbot, which I honestly do this all the time in my garden if I ever have anything wrong. And also, if there's anything you want to buy too, you get free shipping on all your orders, which is pretty incredible. So, okay, congratulations to Patricia Canini. Congratulations. So, send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net and I will get you all set up with your free premium. And like I said, we are always doing these chats. We do the live streams every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time and having some sort of topic too. But always feel free to bring your questions. They're always pretty informal, and we like to answer as many questions as we can that you guys may have. Yay! Okay. Well, awesome. Well,
Do
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to do? We have two more. You want to do these last two?
Oh, yep. Pop them up.
All right. Tammy asked, "Would adding pine needles be okay?"
Yeah. So pine needles would be slightly acidifying the soil. Um, Now, I don't know exactly how much you would have to add to do it. That's something that I would have to research because generally I'm just using that Espoma soil acidifier. So honestly, I would have to look it up. But yes, it would. I just don't know how much you need to add.
Okay, last one. Got Laura. Can you use horse manure in raised beds?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is an amazing source. So you do want to make sure to let it sit for a little bit in your compost before you use it. The only ones that you can like use directly into your beds would be like rabbit and goat are both ones that are really good. Like you can just immediately put in, but horse is one you do want to let it sit for just a little bit, and always be careful too, because we've gotten bit by this in the past where we were using horse manure from somebody else that we got it with, and we didn't know that the horses were grazing on fields that were sprayed with like aminopyritine and like had like, yeah, we had lots of issues. So just make sure that you know the horse and what they're eating before. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, terrific. Well, thank you all so much for joining. This was a fun chat. And thank you, Edvin, for joining and hanging out with us. And hopefully
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. We'll be seeing you all again, hopefully next Tuesday.
Yep, and we have some cool things planned. It looks like I'm gonna go to the Sea2 Spoon garden and help them out with some drip irrigation, and we'll do
Yeah.
some other cool planned stuff. So definitely stay tuned.
Yep. And I got some tomatoes for you too. Hopefully
Nice.
you're
And
soon.
strawberries. I need the
Yeah,
strawberries.
and strawberries right behind me.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much. We'll see y'all next week.